Good evening, Madam Roy back once again. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody had a great weekend so far. It's half over now. I did a wonderful thing today and actually got my bike ride in. It was really cool this morning, probably in the mid 50s to low 60s. And I still did it. I still did it, folks. I rode my bike to breakfast with the car guys, and then I even rode it around to a few garage sales. Unfortunately, there was really nothing to be had in any of the garage sales. I did pick up one item, but I don't think you guys would be that interested in it. It was really just a little air compressor. I could probably show you guys that in a later vlog. But, oh, Mr. Jimmy, thank you for the $1.22 super chat. They're always much appreciated. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about is the best time of year for a road trip. Most of you guys probably know by now that I'm going to be heading up to my uncle's place in Green, New York. Probably within the next week or so. We're looking at maybe around August, November 5th or 6th as a leave date. And I'm probably going to be heading up there myself. I'm not 100% sure. Mom might come up with me, but chances are I'll just be going it solo because I'm going to need to be up there for at least 2 to 3 weeks, maybe closer to a month, helping the gentleman set up a new store. So basically, that is kind of the topic of discussion here tonight. And the reason I say what is the best time for a road trip is what I'm asking you. What time do you guys like? What time of year do you like to travel? Now, me personally, I love traveling in the fall because, number one, it's cooler. And I don't like traveling when it's hot outside because you got to run the air conditioning all the time. When you have to run the air conditioning all the time, your fuel consumption goes up. And number two, you get to see all the beautiful fall foliage, and you can take your time more or less. I mean, there are a lot of people, that they need to get up at a certain date, and they're really running the gun. They're pushing that pedal to the metal to get up there. But you know what? You don't always have to be that way. You could take the time. I like stopping at the rest areas and the welcome centers in between states and stop there, maybe take some pictures, look at the different vending machines, because I actually do love kind of treating myself at some of those, because you believe it or not, the candy machines there have a lot of fresh, interesting choices, things you can't always find, at least in my area. Eric goes, try to let me know the day as soon as possible. I can take the day off. I will. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I'm going to call the gentleman around the 1st of November and find out, try to pin down a more precise time. Mr. Jimmy goes, I've never traveled anywhere in 9 years. Well, you're missing out. And yeah, I realize a lot of it is money. A lot of people just can't afford to travel. But if you at all can get away, even on a cheap holiday, it's definitely worth it. Now, this is going to be more of a business trip. It's not necessarily going to be just going up and having fun. I'm going to be working. But then again, there are going to be those times I'm going to take off and maybe just do some videos at a local park. Maybe we'll even try to get to Animal Adventure Park again. I'm not sure if it's going to be open by the time we get there, but you never know. We'll see what happens. I got 2 cats in here wanting to go out. I'm doing fine, Mark. I appreciate it. Appreciate you asking me. Yeah, it should be a fun time, reviews for noobs. I don't know. Again, it's kind of open-ended right now, just trying to figure out when we're actually going to be traveling up. And I say we because still hoping Mom will come, because I really don't like making those trips alone. But if not, I can do it. I've done it before. Eric goes, I'll leave stupid early well, it depends on the purpose. If I'm going somewhere and coming back home, then I'll leave stupid early. Yeah, we do too. We'll usually leave like around 5, maybe 5:30. Usually not any earlier than that because I do like to get my beauty sleep. Krakens is watching me on a smart TV. That's what's great about smart devices. I mean, you can watch me on your TV, your tablet, your desktop, your laptop, pretty much anything now. Just remember, if you want to get notifications that I'm having a live stream, you need to click that bell icon that's next to the subscribe button. Oh, you beat me, Eric. When I went down to get the van, he left at 3 a.m. I don't think I've ever left. I think the earliest we've ever left to travel maybe was like 4:30 because it's really hard to get mom up and dressed and out the door. Women have more of a routine than us guys. I mean, let's face it. If we need to travel somewhere, we'll wake up, maybe shave, get dressed, and we'll probably have packed the car the night before, maybe get a quick bite to eat and leave. Takes us all maybe 25, 30 minutes, whereas women have to get up, have to figure out what they want to wear that morning, and generally it's not what they put out the night before because the weather will be different. They got to wear something that's either warmer or colder. And then they got to go put makeup on. Hopefully they showered the night before, but if not, they have to do that. And then they have to double check their checklist. And I'm sorry for all the women that are out there might be seeing this, but from experience, I know it takes women on average about 30 to 40 minutes longer to get ready in the morning than it does us guys. Do you fill up the tank the night before? Do you fill the tank up the night before? Yes, we do. Absolutely. And the reason we do that is, believe it or not, most of our local gas stations actually do close. They're not 24 hours. Now, we do have a 7-Eleven that is a 24-hour gas station. In other words, they don't close at all. So you can actually get gas that morning. But the problem is that if for some reason there was a gas shortage or we were running short on time when I get on the highway, most of my vehicles are gas hogs, so I really need to have that tank totally filled up the night before. Mark Covington, $5 super chat. Thank you again for those super chats. They're always appreciated. They will definitely go to improving the channel and giving you guys better content. How is your uncle doing? My mom talked to him the other night. He's doing just fine. He has a very typical routine that he does every day that is kind of comfortable. And yeah, I mean, he enjoys he enjoys his life his way on his terms. And I respect him for that because, yeah, I don't know if I could do the same thing. But you know what? If you enjoy what you're doing, you enjoy life, I mean, what else can you expect? Sonic Wang goes, I get ready in 5 minutes. I have to admit, Saturday mornings when I wake up, maybe around 6:30, 6:45, and I have to be at the restaurant no later than 7:15, then yeah, I could probably get ready. I do get ready in about 5 minutes because I ride my bike every Saturday morning religiously to the restaurant because the way I think of it is to work off the meal that I eat there in the morning that morning, I need to go ahead and ride my bike at least there and back home. And generally, I ride around to garage sales, so that's probably about an 8 to 10 mile ride, and that means I've worked off the breakfast that I've just eaten. So it kind of becomes a push. Basically, means I worked off the same amount that I ingested. Eric goes, I have a simple wardrobe. It doesn't take me long, LOL. I try to do the same thing. I generally wear T-shirts and either shorts or jeans, depending on the time of year. Though if it's really cold, I'll wear sweatpants. Sweatpants are almost a must if it's really cold outside for me because my legs get cold, cold, cold. Pradkins asks, how's your new SUV? Well, I should say new to me because it is a 2005. The GMC Yukon Denali XL is doing very well. I've pretty much got everything fixed that I needed to get fixed. The only thing that is not working that I really would like to figure out how to get working is the cruise control. And I think that's down to a bad brake light switch on the brake pedal. In other words, the actual switch that tells the brake lights to go on. Now that switch is working. It actually, what I should say, it actually controls the brake lights, but it doesn't work well enough to let the cruise control work. And I'm not an expert here, but there's actually usually a rubber spacer between the brake pedal and the switch. And if that is missing or it's decayed, then it's basically telling the cruise control system that the brake is constantly being pushed, and then it won't allow the cruise control to be engaged. If it starts snowing, you might put the shorts away. Yeah, I bet I would. Though at least I do have all-wheel drive on that vehicle, so that's a good thing. Do you use your factory navigation? No, I don't. Matter of fact, I don't even have the original DVD that came with it. And if I did, I probably wouldn't use it because it's really outdated at this point. Planning on driving the Denali, the GMC up there. It all depends on if I think it's reliable. It's been running great now. I even got the issues fixed with the traction control. If you guys remember when I first got it, I had an issue to where if I was at a stoplight and I went to push on the gas, the engine would cut power and I'd get the track active light or the message coming on, and then it would all of a sudden get the power again. And I thought that maybe it was an issue with either the traction control system or the the all-wheel drive transfer case, but luckily it just wound up being bad ABS wheel speed sensors in the front, so all that's fixed now. Danny K, on my truck I have to lift the brake pedal up with my foot and then the cruise will work. Interesting. I'll have to give that a try. I don't think I'm going to worry about it right now, though. I have other things that on my mind that are more important. And to be honest with you, I hardly ever get a chance to use cruise control. Even on a long trip, the interstates that I travel, most of it being like Interstate 64, and then as I get up towards, Pennsylvania area, I get on Interstate 81. They're congested enough to where cruise control really isn't an option, or at least a good option, because generally you set it and a few minutes later there's a slow car in front of you and you got to turn it off again anyway. So it really isn't that big of a deal to me. If I have extra time, then yeah, I might try to diagnose it. I may actually get a friend of mine up there to look at it, somebody who knows a little bit more about these vehicles than I do. Yeah, it is a gas hog, Pradkins. On a trip, I could probably eke out maybe 17 miles a gallon on the highway, but around town, it's like 12 or 13. And that's why I am considering bringing up the Tahoe instead of the Yukon, because that, as old as that is much better on gas, especially around town. It's not my uncle that's opening the store. It's somebody that I know that owns a store in town. It's actually a food liquidation store, and he's going to be opening one in a couple of towns over, and I'm supposed to help him set that up. It's only a temporary job, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month if things get a little hairy, but you know what? It's good experience. It's something I want to do. It's kind of just a change of pace for me, to be honest with you. Now, the traction control system is fine, Pradkins. It was just the ABS wheel speed sensors. Truck Dog 99. Hey, I got a video. Nice. It's nice. I like seeing different people here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I love my usual suspects, but it's nice to see a different crowd sometimes. And one thing I want to let you guys know, I did go up to Walmart again today. At least in my area, my local Walmart's having a big clearance event in the electronics section. And pretty much all the Walmarts are clearing out these PNY 64 gig SD cards. These were $29.99, $30 originally, and they're on clearance for $10, $9.99. These things are great because not only can you use them in a micro SD base system, but also comes with the adapter, so you can actually put these in like an older camcorder or digital camera, and it'll work fine in the adapter. I actually bought these to go with the Uniden. My mind's going. The Uniden dash cam, thank you, dash cam that I picked up a couple weeks ago, which I still have yet to put in the Yukon. I've had so many other things on my mind. I have the same card. Let me know if it's good. I actually haven't used it yet. I know PNY is kind of hit and miss, but lately their products have been getting a little bit better. Yeah, actually both the cats are in here right now. Baxter's right on the edge of the couch there, and Milo's looking at him. I may have to let them out in a minute. You see what they've been doing to my couch? If you look over there, you see how the couch is kind of tore up right by the arm there. Well, that's Mr. Milo's doing. He is a stinker. He goes to that and he scratches and scratches at night. That's why I've had to shut them out at night. Baxter, get down. Get down, B. Come on, down. What are you doing? You're being naughty. He's being very naughty tonight. Truck Dog 99 says, fine in my Sony camcorder. Well, that's good. And it is a class 3 card. What? So it should be able to handle 4K video as well. Hi, Mr. the Baxter. You going to get me a super chat? Is Baxter going to get me a super chat? I bet you will. Everybody likes to see the kitty. You're so sweet. You are very sweet. Okay, I thought that's who you were, Truck Dog 99 instead of Pup Dog 101. We try to keep up with everybody, don't we, Baxt? You're wheezing a little bit, though. He's got bad allergies right now, just like all of us. Prakins goes, my Sirius XM is $16.99 a month. You know, I actually signed up for it because the Yukon has satellite radio built in. If you call them up and threaten to cancel your subscription, they will give you a better rate. I am actually getting it for $6 a month after taxes for an entire year. So you may want to try that because they're always afraid of losing people. And they will give you a better rate if you call up and threaten to cancel it. Don't tell them I told you that, by the way. That's one game cat. Oh, I bet you meant to say tame. Yeah. He is with me, though. He's really, really bashful around new people. Aren't you, buddy? You're a good boy. Mark Covington goes, I have OnStar built into my 2008 Chevy HHR. I have it in the Yukon too, but and I don't know about the 2008, but at least the one in mine is no longer usable because they've updated it to like OnStar 2.0, 3.0, whatever they call it. So the one in mine is not functional anymore. It's a shame, but it's probably not something I would ever use anyway. I mean, heck, I have AAA. Truck Dog 99. What do you think of a 2005 Honda Accord 2.4? We have one. It's a great car. I did a video today. Honestly don't know a lot about the foreign vehicles like the Honda Accords. I do know that the only weak point that I've ever heard of is they suffer from weak automatic transmissions. If it's a manual, then it'll pretty much last you forever. But if it's an automatic, their transmissions tend to go or out at maybe 150, 200,000 miles. That's all I really know about Hondas. You got to remember, I'm more of a domestic fanboy. Pradkins goes, I pray for your cat. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I appreciate it. He doesn't need any prayers though. He's really a good guy. They're pretty healthy too, other than the occasional allergies. Eric goes, the transmission issue was on the 6-cylinder models. Interesting. I never heard of it being on a specific engine. And yeah, most of this came from Scotty Kilmer. If you ever watch his channel, he's a character for sure. But he always talked about Hondas having weak automatic transmissions. But I think the logic behind it, and it kind of makes sense because the 6-cylinder engines are more powerful. And the more power you have going to the transmission, the more wear you're going to have on it, because basically it's the transmission is what takes the power from the engine and makes it usable, makes the wheel, helps make the wheels turn basically. And the more power from the engine, the more strain and stress you're going to put on the transmission. So yeah, that kind of does make sense. The Austin Computer says my cat likes being outside. These two guys are indoor only. I designed it that way because we used to have outdoor cats and they would always get fleas, they would get ticks. Heck, I even had one of actually it was my dog that got Lyme disease. So they're perfectly happy being indoors. They came from one of the local shelters and they were indoor cats to begin with. So they don't even want to go outside. So I figured let's just keep them indoor cats. And the beauty part is with indoor cats, you really only have to get one shot, and that's the rabies shot. I agree, Mark. I am more of a domestic vehicle fanboy than foreign vehicles. I'm not saying that foreign vehicles aren't good. You can get some very reliable Japanese, German-made vehicles. I just tend to prefer domestic vehicles for the reasons I've stated in the past, mainly that they're cheaper to work on, at least in my experience. Eric goes, and was even more so on when they dropped the same drivetrain in the Pilot and Odyssey vans. Yeah, I don't know why they keep doing that. They try to take the powertrains that are designed for cars and put them in bigger vehicles like trucks and minivans. And it's never a good idea because you're just taking the strain and doubling it or even tripling it sometimes. Danny K, is Baxter a purring machine? Our cats, you can hear him across the room when he purrs. More so than Milo. But neither of them purr very loudly. I mean, I have had cats in the past that would purr so loud you would swear that somebody started their boat engine next door. But not really. And Baxter has the very typical Siamese or bobcat meow too. It's not even really a meow. It's more of like a high pitched squeak. I wish I could get him to do it for you, but he doesn't even talk that often, to be honest with you. Goes, it has a main battery and auxiliary one under the passenger seat. It must be a hybrid then. I've never heard of them having more than one battery. America is a great nation, yeah, and I do like to support American automotive companies. LOL. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else did we don't want to touch on tonight. And yeah, I believe me. Fitness update for everybody. I actually got in two big bike rides today. So the one I did this morning, and then the one I did with mom, we went up to Walmart. So I probably got a total of about 12 miles in bike rides. And if my Fitbit will start working again, every once in a while it freezes up, but I got over 20,000 steps. So might try to weigh myself tomorrow morning, see what the scale says. I got on the scale this morning and I was very disappointed. The scale actually said 208, which I did weigh myself with clothes. So yeah, without clothes, I'm probably more like 206, but that's still 2 pounds heavier than I was a week ago. And I think a lot of that is down to my sweet tooth. And yeah, I've been eating a lot of junk recently. So those of you that are Christians, please pray for me out there. I'm doing better now. I'm cutting back. I'm not having any more fat boy pills, i.e. donuts in the morning. Just have to see what happens. Mark Covington, hey Matt, are you planning on selling one of your bikes? If so, is there any chance I may get to buy it from you? I do actually have one for sale locally right now. It's that Schwinditch 3.0. And I have it listed for $100, and it's a great bike. It doesn't have a good stance for me. It's just not a comfortable bike for me to ride. Fat boy pills, yeah. A friend of mine put that name on them. They're actually donuts. It's the nomenclature for donuts. I'm sorry to hear that, truck dog. Yeah, you guys know that I am autistic to a point. I'm on the spectrum. I have what's called Asperger's, and I know what it's like to be depressed and anxious. And I've learned coping skills to help me with that. But sometimes it's not enough. There are times that I really struggle myself. The best thing I can tell you is if you're struggling with that kind of stuff, realize there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It does get better. It will. And, you want to go ahead and seek out professional help. It really does work, honestly. They will teach you those coping skills. No fighting. Oh, awesome. Eric said the Shabbat service last night was great. I've only ever been to a temple once, and that was for a bar mitzvah, and it really wasn't for a friend. It was my friend's son was having his bar mitzvah at the time. Yeah, I don't want Truck Dog 99. I appreciate you saying that, but I don't want you putting that kind of information out about another YouTuber. It's just not proper. If he wants to have that information out, then he will do it himself. But please do not say things like that on the live stream. As a matter of fact, I'm have to remove that comment. I'm sure there probably was an episode of South Park about Asperger's. I mean, they touched on about everything. I don't watch that show anymore because honestly, it's just too dark and just too out there for me. Truck Dog, how's your CX240 Sony? I love mine. I haven't actually used it in a while, but yeah, it's doing great. I left it under the seat in my Tahoe for about a month. I was cleaning the Tahoe out the other day, and I reached under there and I said, "What is this?" And I pulled it out, and it was in my Sony case. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that has been in there for over a month since we got back from the trip last time." And I'm just glad nobody stole the thing. I-386. I had to go on disability because work caused so much stress. I also have other issues. Maybe find something from home. I worked for 25 years. I have a touch of autism also. That's great. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I have had issues holding down jobs in the past. My autism, my anxiety gets the best of me. I have worked. I have worked regular 9 to 5 jobs. My first job was as a dishwasher for Old Country Buffet. That lasted about 6 months, and then I had to quit because I was finishing high school. So that was in my senior year of high school. And then when I went to college, I worked at Sonic for about 4.5, 5 years. That was actually my longest job. And I quit that because I had to finish college. And then I also worked at Best Buy. That was another job I had for about 3 years. But each of these jobs didn't end well. And it honestly was mostly my fault. And it was down to my anxiety, which always got the best of me. If you don't have anxiety and you don't have autism, then you don't know what it's like. We, especially people that have Asperger's, we fixate on a certain thing. It could be a problem. It might be a certain thing. Like you guys know, I collect cassette tapes. I collect Alvin and the Chipmunks memorabilia. It's because that's comforting to me, and that's part of the Asperger's. So I know exactly what you mean. If you have it, then you know what I mean. Eric goes, the church I'm attending now has roots in Messianic Judaism, which combines Christianity's most important, the belief in Jesus, and the Jewish Messiah with elements of Judaism and Jewish tradition. Yes, we have a couple Messianic temples in our area too, and that's exactly what it is. It's basically the Jewish people that believe that Jesus was the Messiah, and basically they're the same as being born again Christians or Christians in general. I'd love to go to one of those temples, to be honest with you. It would be something very interesting to me. Yeah, I appreciate you removing that comment. Yeah, they won't say anything else about it. What's up, guys? Both the cats are laying right at the door waiting to go out. I'll let them out in a few minutes. Milo's got this really content face, like, whenever. You can open the door whenever. If you have a very low attention span, a lot of times that just means you have ADD. Having attention deficit disorder is very different from having Asperger's. I unfortunately have both, so I have the worst of both worlds. Yes, I do watch Stranger Things. I've actually seen all of them to date. I love it. Mom and I got really into that about a month ago. Eric goes, doing the job I do now with Asperger's is extremely difficult at times. My problem with the Asperger's is I have a very bad short-term memory. So if my boss told me to do something, chances are 5 minutes later I would forget what that is. And you can't hold down a job having a normal job, having that bad of an attention span. I mean, it just doesn't work. And a lot of that is the reason that I failed at a lot of my other jobs. And yeah, disability is an option. It may be an option that I'll have to look at down the road. But it's not something that I want to do. And yeah, some of it is pride. But I want to do the best I possibly can. If there's any other option, if I can make my mark, if I can do a job that allows me to improve other people's lives and improve my life at the same time, then I don't see any reason to go on disability. But it's not off the table. Unfortunately, I may have to in the future. Eric Brunhammer, dude, I was on lunch and my boss called me asking about an order that was supposed to go out, and I may or may not. Oh, hold on, lost it there. Okay, may or may not have yelled profanities because I forgot. Yeah, I'm with you there. And a lot of times I'll get mad at somebody else, and yeah, it was totally my fault. But it's hard because I don't want it to be my fault. And it's stupid mistakes that I make because of my short term memory, and I take it out on another person. And you never want to do that. There are times you probably will, but do your best to own up to your own mistakes. That's the best thing I could tell you to do. Eric goes, I wasn't mad at anyone. It was 100% my fault, and I owned it. Well, that's good. That's good. At the end, as long as you say you're sorry and be like, yeah, I get it. I made the mistake. I'm going to own it, and I'm going to take responsibility. Then that's all you can really do. Michael Gardner's here. Hey, Michael Gardner. Nice to see you. I36. I donated the computer I built last year to my church. I bought an XPS 8930. I like it. Would have built one, just didn't feel like doing it. Just don't tell Carrie Holzman. I don't think Kerry would have a huge problem unless it was, of course, an HP. He really does not like HP computers. And yeah, I get it. Believe me, there are times that HP has driven me crazy. Like with the ones back there, those HP Pro 8200 systems, they use T15 Torx screws instead of regular Phillips head. And I'm like, why would HP do that? Well, the only reason they're doing it is because that makes it harder for the end user to upgrade their own computer. So it makes them have to go back to HP for all their upgrades. HP knows what they're doing. They know that they're making it harder for people to upgrade their computers. Yeah, HPs can be good computers. They can be reliable systems. I just don't like the proprietary things that HP does, like putting in T15 Torx screws, putting in proprietary power supplies, proprietary, where was I going with this? Memory. Some of the older HPs, not these, but the ones they had before this, were very, very picky as to the type of memory you could put in. A lot of them you had to get low density memory, and it had to be like Hynix or Samsung branded memory. If you try to put in something like Kingston Value RAM or PNY memory, it would just beep at you. My brother bought me a Dell Professional P1913 19-inch PLHD monitor. Interesting. I've never actually owned one myself. Oh, I got to move my butt cheeks around. I am starting to get a sore, and a lot of that is probably from bike riding too much. May have to take a break tomorrow. Actually, I will be taking a break from bike riding tomorrow because it's supposed to rain all day. Yeah, bummer, right? Thank God for water. Okay. 90% chance of rain tomorrow. Ooh. Hopefully I can make it. I may have to play hooky from church. I honestly do not like venturing out in the rain. Just kills my allergies usually. 80% chance. High of 81 tomorrow. Oh, I was hoping we would not see any more 80-degree weather, but it happens. Though honestly, I can bike ride when it rains, and I've done it before. Basically, I just put my either my gabardine rain trench coat, or probably more likely I'll put on my high visibility waterproof coat, put a hat on or and my on top of my helmet, and just go out and bike ride in the rain. I'm gonna take a bike ride in the rain and maybe sing while I'm doing it. Hi, Mr. Jimmy, I rode in the rain a couple of times, and now the bike is rusty. Yeah, that will happen. We put our bikes in a shed, and I try to oil them as much as possible, but yeah, some of them did get rusty. The worst thing you could do is ride them at the beach, and we did that one time, and we let the ocean water get onto the wheels. and then we put them away for the winter, came back next year, and they were totally rotted out. We had to throw the bikes away. Interesting. Michael Gardner, he'll see Buddhist monks time to time because he lives near a temple. Hopefully, they're actually real Buddhist monks and not the fake ones that you get in San Francisco panhandling. Mark Covington, hey Matt, found a PCK62 empty CPU at Goodwill in Hampton earlier today. I'll have to look that up. Oh, that's a pretty cool case. I like the LED, the 120 mil LED fan in the front. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Oh, I'm sure, Mr. Jimmy, the salt water will rust your bikes out really, really quick. All right, everybody, that is it for the live stream tonight. I am going to be getting ready for bed very shortly. Thank you so much for coming. I am going to be keeping you guys updated on when I'm leaving, and probably going to be doing a vlog on the way up because I'm going to make some stops for sure. Please continue to like and subscribe. Thank you once again to Mr. Jimmy and Mark Covington for their super chats. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.